I'm a little out of words. I've been out there, seems like, for an hour and a half talking to a lot of people. I don't know who we were talking to. I guess we weren't talking to you guys. But just so proud, as you can only imagine, to get to this point. We've talked about it, the whole time here, but even before here, the journey that this team has been through and where they've come from. I've talked about, the great leadership, of Tim and, all the, not just seniors, but upperclassmen. And I don't think we get to this point without that. And one of the things I've always learned, people say, hey, how's the leadership? Well, you can't answer those questions until the season's over, because, when you're going through fall practice, there's no adversity. There's, no 7 and 14s. Everybody plays, everybody pitches, but you find out at the end, what you're made of. And again, we're not here without, the leadership, and it's just been a neat run. I didn't get a chance to speak to the team. I will at some point, but I'll say it to these guys and I'll say it to you. It's cool. People say, hey, what are you feeling? I'm just so happy for them. I'm happy for all these guys and what they've done to put themselves in position to learn life lessons here, right? It's why we do these things, is to learn things in intercollegiate athletics. And these guys have been great representatives, and again, just have been sensational. And we just want to thank them. A great coaching staff that I'm blessed with, but we want to thank the players for allowing us to be along for this great ride.
Okay, Mike, sit back and relax. We're going to ask questions for the student athletes now. It may be a while, so we'll start right here.
Michael Katz, Daily Journal. Tim, in February, I remember you telling us that this is where you guys wanted to be and that this is what you came back for. Now that you got the job done, what are you feeling right now?
It's hard to put into words. Really, me and Kev and people that maybe could have gone. We came back to play one more year with the guys that are sitting up here with me and that were out there on the field today. We came back to play one more time as a team and go for the shot to win a national championship. And obviously we did that, and feels amazing. But there's so much to be said about how much we overcame this year. How much we had to fight through, how much we had to pick each other up and never let ourselves get too down. This story of our season is going to be told for years and years and years to come. And this is the best Ole Miss baseball team in history, and it feels so good, and it's an honor to be a part of it.
Okay, over here.
Nick Suss with the Clarion Ledger. Brandon, from the second the ball hit Dunhurst's glove to the dog pile, just kind of what did that emotion feel like getting the last out of the College World Series?
There was no emotion. I kind of blacked out. Usually after a game, I usually have something, not choreographed, but I know what I'm going to do after the game. And there, I had no emotion. It was a dream come true. Ever since you're a little kid, you dream of being on the mound in those situations. And when it happened, you just let go of yourself because you realize that you did do it. And it didn't hit me until probably 20 minutes after it happened, after the last pitch actually happened, what was going on. So when it happened, the emotions were true because there was none.
Okay.
Dylan, Austin Eldridge with the Rebel Walk. You go from transfer into Ole Miss this year, weren't in the starting rotation at the beginning of the year, to now the most outstanding player of the College World Series. Just talk about your emotions right now after this national championship.
It's kind of hard to put them into words. I just feel blessed to be a part of this team, to be a part of these coaches. They've taught me so much this year. I've grown up so much just in that aspect of being a teammate, being a better teammate, being just looking up to Tim, really. He's like a mentor to me. The way he's just picked me up, kept me going, put my head on straight. I've never seen someone like that, and it's truly a blessing to have this team and these coaching staffs.
John.
Tim, John Sokoloff of WCBI TV down in Columbus. You mentioned how much all these guys mean to you. You played seems like 1 million games with all of them. I mean, how emotional is it for you knowing that, it was your last game with them? And also, I mean, what does it mean to be able to know that you guys went out kind of on top?
Yeah, it hasn't really quite sunk in yet that, this was my last game in a Ole Miss baseball uniform, and, playing with this team and the guys that I played with for so many years. But right now I'm just proud to be a national champion and be a part of a team that did some amazing things this year. That's what I'm proud of right now.
Okay, right here.
Jake Thompson with the Ole Miss Spirit. For Dylan or Brandon or both, just can y'all put into words what this past month has been, and the pitching staff and the performances that y'all gave just from Miami, Hattiesburg, and this past week?
Brandon, you start.
Yeah,
Brandon.
We knew we were this staff from the beginning of the year. Even in the fall, we saw how competitive it was. So when we were going through that 7-14 time or the struggles, we knew that wasn't us. So being able to get the recognition that the staff deserves, really from the starting standpoint, Dylan and Elliott took off from it, and then the bullpen, we pitched our ability. So we always knew that we were capable of doing what we have done for the past month or so. It just feels great to actually see the work that we put in go out and be successful.
Dylan.
I can't top that. That was spot on.
Okay, Aaron.
Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. For Tim, kind of building on what Dylan said earlier about the coaching staff, and for a guy who's been here as long as you have, playing for these guys, first of all, what does it mean to you to help them get to this point? And secondly, what is it about these guys that helped you all stay afloat, when times were tough this year?
It means the world that we were able to get Coach B a national championship here, and the coaches, they teach us so much. They keep us in line. They're like friends to us, honestly. Obviously they're our coaches, but they're the best. They're the best there is, and it's an absolute joy to play for them. It's a joy just to go to the field every day and practice and be around them. And I couldn't have asked for a better coach, head coach, hitting coach, pitching coach, all the coaches. I couldn't have asked for better ones to play for 5 years. And it brings joy to my heart to win a national championship for them.
Okay, next question back here in the back.
Kevin Rempe, KMTV here. And for you guys, talk to me about what was going through your heads in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Jacob, why don't you start?
Kind of knew we were going to start the scoring either in the 8th or the 9th. I mean, that's just how we are. We're going to put the pressure on. We're not just going to strike out strike out the side and sit down. We're going to fight, and luckily I got a hit, and I finally got to help the team out this week. So I'm just glad I got to help out, and then everyone else had great at-bats to get us those runs.
I knew Gonzo was going to get a hit. I knew it the whole time. Nice, Gonzo.
Okay, next question. Okay, you do have one. Okay. Nick
says, Clarion Ledger. Tim, Mike's been joking all month about the statue. I'm sure you've seen people talking about it on Twitter. Where do you want it?
I don't really want one. I kind of just want one of all of us holding the national championship trophy. That's what I want.
Okay, we have a Zoom question. Please give us your name and affiliation. Ask the question.
Mitch Davis, the Mitch Davis Show. Tim, I want to ask you, what does Ole Miss mean to you? And obviously, you've been here a long time. When now it's all said and done, what do you want your lasting legacy to be on this place?
Ole Miss means the world to me. I had to make a decision last year what I was going to do, and I remember following the draft, I was praying and trying to figure out what I was going to do, and God told me that I'm not done here at Ole Miss, and I listened to that and I was like, all right, well, let's do this thing then. And, I came back and it was the best decision I could have ever made. And, it was a crazy road to get where we are. But, I remember after we lost to Mississippi State at home, I called my sister in the car and she knew that, obviously we were struggling and it was kind of taking a little bit of a toll on me. And, I remember talking to her and she just said, you just got to trust God. He didn't bring you back here for no reason. And I remember hanging up the phone and, I was praying out loud, talking to God and just asking him, what's going on here? Why did I come back here and why, this isn't going how I thought it was going to go. And I remember just hearing one word that he was telling me in the back of my head, and it was believe. That's all he was telling me was believe. And I was like, all right, I'm going to believe. I'm going to do it. And I tried to harp on that to the guys and, keep the spirits up. And boy, was God right. We just had to keep believing, man. And we kept believing and fighting. And, we won a national championship for Ole Miss and all the past players and all the fans across the country and for the state of Mississippi and the University of Mississippi. We did it. We're national champs.
And that is a good way to end the players portion of it. Guys, congratulations. I'll tell you what, this is a feeling that you'll never forget. Promise you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, questions for Mike, and we'll start right here.
Parrish Alford Daily Journal. Mike, we've talked before about Hunter and his composure and demeanor and everything, but has any of that changed with the games? They keep getting bigger and bigger every time he gets the ball. What do you see in his routine and how he approaches those things?
He's amazing, and I think we mentioned it after his last start. There's young guys. It's more than talent. There's guys that throw harder. There's guys that get better breaking balls. Guys that have better changeups, and that's not trying to demean his abilities. I mean, he's obviously very talented, but I think if you ask any of the coaches, his toughness, his belief, to be able to make pitches, and we saw that through SEC play. But once we got to postseason, you watch him in Miami. I've mentioned where we had bases loaded. You're playing the national seed on their park or in their park on their field. They don't lose there. And he has bases loaded in the first and gets out of it. And that's kind of what he's done all year. And then you watch him go to Hattiesburg and play in a tough environment there and just pitches his best game of the year and gets to Omaha, and the talent just continues. Got the hotter teams are there. He just continues. The bigger the stage, the better he gets, and that's when you watch enough sports like you have and I have, that's what the great ones do, don't they? When the stage is big, and the importance of the game, that's when they really shine, and he's one of those guys.
Okay, I'll start right here.
Coach Austin Dodgers with the Rebel Walk. I know for you, every group that you have is special, but this one in particular, just talk about your emotions and what this particular group of guys means for you after they won a national championship.
Yeah, it's hard to put into words, to be honest. I mean, game ends and a lot of hugs and a lot of Gatorade and a lot of interviews out there and, trying, everybody's asking you about your emotions. It's tough. But this team, you've listened to them and interviewed them, I mean, what a neat job I have. It's to be around these guys, and I mean it. Just great kids. Great representatives of our university. They play this game at a very, very high level. And they're just good guys. And we've had great leadership, as I mentioned earlier, and just to watch them do this, I shared with them, and I said it several times now, life's tough, and there's bad things that happen to everybody. Good people, bad things happen. And, these guys have worked really hard, and I think they've showed, a lot of people, that, you can fall down, you can stumble, and you can fail, but that doesn't mean you're a failure. If you continue to work hard, you continue to push, and you continue to believe, as Tim said, you can accomplish anything. That's not some poster or some tweet, to motivate you. We've all heard that. These guys have lived that, this season. They really have. They've fallen down where, not a lot of people believe that they were any good anymore, and, a lot of people may have been disappointed in them. And I get that. It's sports, and that's part of it. But they didn't let that affect them. They continued to believe in one another. They continued to push. I think that's why you had 20,000 plus fans show up, here, because this is a special group. They knew it was a special group. It wasn't just a national championship. I honestly believe that. I mean, during the trophy presentation, when you look in the stands, the stadium holds 25,000, and it looked almost still packed. That's how many fans we had here. And so this group of young men, I think, people have fallen in love with them, their story, and where they come from, and they had a lot of people rooting for them, and not just Ole Miss fans. I can't imagine. I've gotten so many texts over the last couple weeks from a lot of our rivals. A lot of the people that we compete against every single day that said they're pulling for us, that they've fallen in love with this story and these guys. And I'm just, again, I said at the very beginning, very fortunate to been a part of it, to let those guys allow me to be on the ride with them.
Okay, Michael. Oh, John. Okay, John.
Mike, John Sokoloff, WCBI TV in Columbus. I know you've been asked about your emotions a lot, but specifically when it comes to Tim, I know you've talked about.
That was
him.
why the really long answer, so we would get out of the emotion question.
But when it comes to him, that was the last game you're going to coach him in. Has that set in at all that you won't be walking in the dugout and seeing him?
And I almost said something to you, John, earlier. This is such a great time. I don't think anybody wants to think about it's the last time. I was going to say, man, that's kind of cruel, and I think you probably saw that from Tim's reaction, like he hadn't even thought about that yet. And you're right, but I'll tell you, this isn't what you asked, but I'll tell you this. I've never won a national championship, and so I've been a head coach, 25 years. So you've always lost the last game. You've always hoped that you would you were going to win it and move on to the next round, step, whatever that was. And so when you walk out in that field, which you've seen 7 other teams do here, and you got a bunch of young men, 18 to 22 years old, that are crying and knowing that this is the last game and this is how it's going to end that season, and some of them that'll never put the uniform on again. They won't get a chance to play professional baseball. This is it, and this is how it's going to end. And nobody's prepared for that. I've always struggled, in that moment because I didn't have a speech prepared. So that to end on a winning note, man, it's really neat. And so they didn't have to go through that. They didn't have to be out there with all the hugs and the tears. And Lord knows, Tim and the other guys, they've been through that enough. So they deserve this.
Okay, back over here.
ChasePointRebels.com. Mike, Jacob has such a big day today. How's he kind of handled the last couple of weeks, scuffle a little bit, and then coming through as he did?
Yeah, he's a superstar. It's tough. Baseball's a tough game, and sometimes you don't have a good weekend or a good game. And I grabbed him yesterday. And I told him, I said, take a deep breath. You're a superstar. You're gonna be fine. Part of the tough week is we face some really good pitchers and some tough left-handers. The couple days against Arkansas, he faced Hagen Smith, freshman All-American, who Hagen, we weren't sure if he, was getting tired or hitting the wall, and he pitched as well as he's pitched all year here, a few days ago. And then the Taylor kid pitched twice against us. And, his opponent's batting average is like under 100. So nobody hits him. It's not just Jacob or Graham, like nobody hits him. And so, it's kind of been some bad matchups for him. And but he's terrific, and we're glad he's on our team.
Okay, Jay.
Jake Thompson, Ole Miss Spirit. Mike's kind of the same question I asked Brandon and Dylan. Just can you put into words what this pitching staff has done this past month, how they've just kind of put it all together?
And, they deserve a lot of credit. I think when you look back statistically, and it's a team game, and we have a great offense, but we are not in Omaha, and we're certainly not winning a national championship if we don't pitch it like we have. And the guys have been terrific, and it just and I think Brandon was right. Once DeLucia became the ace that he did, you're a different team. When you don't have an ace, it's hard to win, and especially in our league. I mean, Friday nights are a bear in the SEC, and if you don't have a guy that can match up with the other team's ace, you have no shot. And I think once that happened, and then Hunter came along, and kind of filled in that 2 slot. We had a pretty good 1-2 punch similar to last year, and again, I think that also helped the bullpen. To kind of solidify some of those pieces. And you saw even today how electric Brandon Johnson can be. And it's almost a shame that if we would have had a better year and a different season, how great his season would have been. Because, man, he's about as good as anybody at the back end. But we've had to use him in so many different ways. And then when you look in the postseason, we've hit and scored, and we kept the score down where is this the only save opportunity? Was this the only save opportunity? How about that, to win a national championship, and this may be the only time he got a save? Maybe. Or close. If it's not, it's close. And so the point is, wow, there's been times where he didn't pitch a weekend. We won a super regional, didn't use our closer. Like, wow. And so, it's been hard on him, not running out there. When I'd say not emotionally, but the regimen of a closer running out there, getting hot and pitching. And so I was a little worried. We pitched him with a 10-run lead because I was so worried, like, we got to get him on the mound so he can throw. So, and again, the next time he pitches is a national championship game.
Okay, Aaron.
Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. Coach, a lot has been made of Oklahoma's style of play. Yeah. Of course, yesterday you guys hit all those home runs, but today it seemed like in the 8th inning that hit and run was a crucial moment. Can you kind of take us through the thought process there, and what do you think that did for this team to jumpstart it?
It really wasn't a hit and run. I mean, it was a steal by McCants, and Bench poked a little line drive to right, but we knew, or at least I felt, we got our best base stealer on base. Top of the lineup, coming up with 2 outs. I think most baseball minds say, man, you're going to have to pick a pitch here and go, try to get him in scoring position. If he gets thrown out, then you got the top of the lineup in the bottom of the 9th, and you try to tie it up or maybe get a walk off. And to be honest with you, that even pushed it, because I was sitting there thinking, we have not had a walk off the entire season. That's another one. Can you imagine how many times has somebody won a national championship and not had a walk-off win? And so maybe we're going to do it in the bottom of the 9th in the national championship game. So when they brought in the closer, grabbed TJ and said, hey, we're going to, if you go whenever you want, but we're going to pick a pitch and give you a steal no matter what. And so, after the first breaking ball, we chose to steal. Bench, gets a hit because he's allowed to swing with the guy in motion. We get first to third. And then as Chase said, I know it hasn't been a great week. It hasn't been an awful week for Jacob, but it hasn't been a great week. But we weren't going to steal Bench. He's going to have a lot of room on the right side to hit a ball. I felt really good at that point where we were, that we were going to win.
Okay. My favorite reporter, Jocelyn.
Jocelyn Stamp, Sports Illustrated Kids. Mississippi State won last year. Does Ole Miss winning this year add any fuel to the rivalry?
From Sports Illustrated Kids, we get that question? Wow.
I told you she was my favorite.
Yeah, man, put you on the spot. I'm sure it will. I'm sure our fan base will be very proud. I'll leave it at that. But I will say this, and this seems maybe too nice for your question, but when we won in Hattiesburg as Super Regional, I got a text from Chris Labonis, the head coach at Mississippi State, and I got a text from Coach Gotro, their hitting coach. Both of them, congratulations, and good luck in Omaha. And my response back to both of them was, thanks so much, I really appreciate it, and we're hoping to keep the trophy in Mississippi. As we're leaving Hattiesburg, Mississippi, that was a national seed that hosted a regional and super regional. So the rivalry is great, but it's rivalry with all three of us, because all three of us have great baseball programs.
Okay, Rick.
Rick Cleveland, Mississippi Today. Mike, the squeeze play, I believe, was in the 6th inning. What did you see and
Yeah, thank God for the Jumbotron, huh? Jeez. Yeah, I was frustrated because I went out, the pitch before and knew that they would safety squeeze, or thought they would safety squeeze. So we went and just made sure everybody knew what they were supposed to do. Terrific bunt, by their leadoff guy. And Hunter being left-handed, made the play much more difficult for him. He throws the ball, and of course, another bunt play in this World Series that it looks like we're going to screw up, and the ball goes in, and we give up the run. And as I just by chance, because I don't look at the Jumbotron a lot, I just looked up, not because of that. And I went, my gosh, he's out of the running lane. And so that's why I ran on the field. And it's so loud. Usually you can yell to the umpire, but you can't hear anything out there. And so, I ran out there because I don't want a pitch to be thrown, or you're done. And, so, yeah, give that to the scoreboard. Credit goes to the scoreboard guy.
Okay, we're running out of time, so Nick.
Nick Suss, Clarion Ledger. Mike, for a guy like Gaddis to get those 4 crucial outs for you guys, deferred medical school to come to Ole Miss, just how important was that, and just the season he's had, how crucial has he been since you brought him in?
Yeah, he's been terrific. And, like a lot of the arms that are really good, we struggled to find roles. We struggled to kind of define roles and figure it out, and you've seen it all year, Nick. And, we thought he had a tremendous fall. We thought he was going to, be one of the 3 guys on the weekend. And once we got into conference play, that was tough. And then he had an appendectomy, and, like a lot of things that have happened, through that month of, April. But he's just a tough kid, just a great kid. How about that? Your kid was going to go to medical school a year ago, and then said, hey, I had a pretty good year. I want to try to go to Omaha. And he picks Ole Miss, and he gets the win in the national championship game. That's another really cool story.
Okay, our last question, Michael. Make it a good one.
Michael Katz, Daily Journal. I think it was on selection day or after Coral Gables, you told us that in the postseason, the key is obviously you have to have your stars come through, but it's also about the other guys. And throughout the postseason, we've seen Calvin Harris and McCants and Garrett Wood and Jack Doherty and Gaddis have these moments. Can you just talk a little bit about those guys?
I've always, you're right, Michael. I've always believed, tournament play, is so tough, and to win at the end of the season, your stars have to show up. They got to perform on the stage, and certainly our guys have. But to win and to move on, you need the guys that that maybe nobody was expecting. Media day, they weren't the guys that were, in all the photo shoots and all of that. And again, they don't have to be the MVP of the tournament. Sometimes they are, but you got to have different pieces, or different ones on different nights. Calvin Harris, was a superstar here in Omaha, and Gaddis was terrific. A guy that hadn't started in a while, and gives us that great start against Arkansas, and gives us an opportunity, and then comes in today and. In a tough situation, with the bases loaded, we had already walked in, and he gets to a 3-ball count and gets out of it, and so many other guys, and that's how you get here, because it takes all of them. You just can't. You got to lean on your stars, but man, you need the other parts to come through for you.
We could stay here all day, but thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Howdy toddy.
Howdy toddy.